Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for sparing our lives to this moment to pray and accept our ibadat. Ameen. Welcome us back to another edition of the free NAHW class. And as you can see, we are using the board tonight. Like we started when we started the free NAHW class, and it has been a while. We've been sharing screens and sending textbooks before, but now we shall continue with using the board so as to serve you better, inshallah. Tonight we are going to be having the NAHW class 112, and as we all know, we'll be using the reference book and NAHW Wadi and Juzul Thalith, the third part of NAHW Wadi. So you may need to bring out your hard copy of the book if you have, and if you don't have that, you can check our Telegram page for the soft copy of the book so that you can follow along as the class is going on. So tonight we shall be taking تقسيم الفعل إلى صحيح ومعتل. The topic is also on the board. So this topic has been taken earlier in Sorfu. You see the link attached to the comment section, and there's a poem that guides the topic. The poem has also been taken twice earlier. So we are still going to take it again because it's the one that it summarizes everything you are supposed to take in this class. So I'm going to start with that. So afterwards, I'll be reading from our reference book from page 213 in the hard copy, the book I have here with me. We can check for the page in the soft copy, so as to follow along. So I will be reciting the poem now. جميع الضروب بالفعل سبعة أضرب لا أنا في بيت من الشعر واصف صحيح ومهموز مثال وأجوف لفيف ومنقوص البناء مضاعف كمثل فهمنا ما قرأنا وعدتنا وفاز وفا غزا وحج فيشوف. So the tone of this poem, the bahr is called Tawil, and I'm going to explain the meaning now. جميع ضروب الفعل سبعة أضرب. All the types of verbs are 7 types. Durub here is the plural, is a plural noun, and adrub is also a plural noun. So it is for the same singular verb, singular noun. So you can have it as durub, you can also have it as adrub. So it's the same word. So the singular is double. So جميع ضروب بالفعل سبعة أضرب. All the types of verbs are what? 7 types, with respect to the shape of the verb, with respect to the shape being sound or what, or weak. That is, do we have sound letters comprising of the verb, or we have a weak letter in between the verb? So that is the types. So there are 7 types of verbs with respect to that. So that's the first line. Laha ana fi baitin min ash-shi'ri wasifu. Laha ana wasifun min ana wasifun laha min fi baitin min ash-shi'ri. Ana wasifun laha fi baitin min ash-shi'ri. So I am what? I'm describing it with what? With a poem. I'm describing it with what? With a poem. Sahihun wa mahmuzun mithalun wa ajwafun. So the lines to come will now explain the types of the verbs and then cite examples for them. So this says sahihun, that's the first type. Sahih, mahmuz, mithal, and what? Ajwaf. So these are mentioning just 4 types of them: sahih, mahmuz, mithal, wa ajwaf. Then we have lafifun wa manqusul bina'i mudha'afun. So this bina is just added to the line to make it compatible with the tone of the poem. So it is not part of the type. So we have just lafif, manqus, and mudha'af. So that makes it 7. Sahih, mahmuz, mithal, ajwaf, lafif, manqus, and what? And mudha'af. So those are the 7 types of verbs we have with respect to the types of letters that are comprised that the verbs are comprised of. So كمثل فهمنا, now to cite example of verbs like that with respect to the types that we mentioned respectively. كمثل فهمنا, so fahimna here is the first type. This nun is a pronoun. So what are we looking at? We are just looking at the fa, how, and mim. So the verb is what? Fahima. So this fahima is sahih. Why is it sahih? Because all of the letters in the verb are sound letters. They are not. We cannot find weak letters among the letters that are in the verb. So we have fahima, the first one, representing what? Sahih. Wa mahmuzun, that is what? Ma qara'na. So the second example is qara'a. Qara'a representing what? Mahmuz. And what is mahmuz? Mahmuz is a verb that has hamza. Mahmuz is a verb that has what? Hamza. So qara'a is representing mahmuz. Then we have what? Misal. For wa'adtana. For what? Wa'adtana. The verb is what? Wa'ada. The verb is wa'ada. That's an example of misal. And misal is what? A verb that starts with a weak letter. That is the first letter of the verb is a weak letter. So it can either be what? Wow or ya. So that is misal. So but the example cited here is of wow. So we have wa'ada. Then ajwaf is the next one. The example that was cited for ajwaf is father. Faza. So faza is an ajwaf verb. What is denoting that is the weak letter in between, in the at the middle of the verb. That is the second letter of the verb is a weak letter. That is ajwaf. Then the next one we have lafif. Wafa. That is lafif. Wafa. So lafif are verbs that have two weak letters. It can be that the weak letters are consecutive or they are apart. So the example we have here, we have the weak letters apart. The first letter of the verb and the last letter. So that is lafif. Then we have manqus. Manqus are verbs that have just one weak letter at the end of the verb. That is manqus, and this is roza. Manqus for roza. Then we have the last one, which is muda'af. Verbs that have similar letter occurring twice. One letter occurring twice. That is a verb that has shadda. So that is what? Hajja here. Hajja. So those are the 7 types of verbs that we have. So you can see that if you memorize this poem, you'll be able to remember the conditions for each type of the verbs, because the poem has connected each verb to what? To its name. So this is a very good one for you to learn. Like I mentioned earlier, the poem has been treated twice before. You can check previous link for additional information. So now I'll be reading what we have from our reference book, NAHW, but from the words Al-Juzu Studies, from the third part of the book. We've started the third part already. We've done part 1 and part 2 previously before. So we are on the third part, and I'm going to be reading from the book. So the book I have here, like I said earlier, is on page 213. So you can check if you have a hard copy. If you don't have a hard copy with you, you can check our Telegram page and download the soft copy. So we have تقسيم الفعل إلى صحيح ومعتل. Division of verbs towards sound verbs and sick ones. I'm still at the examples. صحيح هو ما كان كل حرف من حروفه الأصلية صحيحا. He said the sahih verb, you know, we said the topic is تقسيم الفعل إلى صحيح ومعتل. So we are taking sahih first from the qaida. So الفعل صحيح هو ما كان كل حرف من حروفه الأصلية صحيحا. So sahih verbs are those verbs that all of the letters that are comprised of the verb are what? Sahih, they are sound letters. That is, we do not have weak letters among them. We know our weak letters. The weak letters are what? Alif, wa, and ya. So sahih verbs are those verbs that you can't find what? Weak letters in the letters. So here they said sahih is divided into 3 parts. The first one, as-salim. As-salim ma kana khaliyan min al-hamzati wat-tad'if. They said what is called salim, though it is not mentioned here, but they said what is called salim is a verb that is free from Hamza and Tad'if. So that salim here is the Sahih we have in the poem. The salim here is the what? Sahih we have in the poem. So ma kana khaliyan min al-hamzati wa Tad'if. A verb that's what? That is free from Hamza and also free from what? From repetition of letter, that is free from shadda, free from double letter. So that is salim. Then al-mahmuz. Mahmuz ma kana ahadu hurufi al-asliyati hamza. They said it is the verb that has one of its letters as what? Hamza. That is a verb that has Hamza in it. So when we see a verb that has Hamza, we know the verb is what? Is mahmuz. Then the next one we have muda'af. So muda'af is what? Ma kana harfahu thani wa thalith min jinsin wahidin. They said muda'af is a verb that has what? The second and third letter as just one letter. That is, has the same letter for the second and what? And third letter. Ma kana awwaluhu wa akhiruhu harfai illa. They said it is what? It is the verb that has the first and last letter as what? As a weak letter. And then lafif al-makurun, consecutive lafif is the one that ma kana wasatuhu wa akhiruhu harfai illa. It's one that has the second, that is the middle letter, and the last letter to be what? To be weak letters. So those are the types according to the calendar we have here. So and if you check the type, we are going to see that there are 7, like we mentioned from the poem. We have salim, as-sahih, we have mahmuz, muda'af, misal, ajwaf, naqis, and lafif. But here they separated the lafif, like I mentioned earlier, that we can have what? Lafif in 2 ways. Either they are separated or they are consecutive. So they have what? Lafif al-mufruq, the one that's what? Are separated, and lafif al-makrun, the one that are what? Consecutive. So the types are what? 7, just like has been described by the poem. So now let's move to the examples. So the examples here, they are consecutively, they are arranged as the definitions of the types of verbs are arranged in the calendar. So the examples are also arranged that way. So that means the first set of examples we are going to be having will be what? Salim. That is Sahih. So that, and we can see that the dal is taking shadda. So this is an example of what? Muda'af. This is an example of muda'af because that is what taking shadda. Then the next one we have shadda al-waladu al-habla. The boy tied the rope. The boy tied the rope. So this is also an example of what? Of muda'af. Then the next one we have wajada hasanun kitabahu. Wajada hasanun kitabahu. So this is a mu'tal verb. Why? Because it has a sick letter. Which one is sick letter? The first one. That is wow. The first letter here. So but which type of mu'tal is this? This is misal. This is what misal, because it has the sick letter at the beginning of the verb. So wajada hasanun kitabahu. The Hassan found his book. As the meaning of the statement. Then the next one we have Nala al-mazlumu haqqahu. Nala al-mazlumu haqqahu. The oppressed person attained his rights or got his rights. So Nala as in the middle is also a mu'tal verb because that's a weak letter. It is what? Alif. So the position of the weak letter tells us it is what? Ajwaf. It is what? It is ajwaf. Then next one we have Nama Sabi, the baby slept. Nama Sabi, the baby slept. So Nama is also a mu'tal verb because that's a weak letter. And the position tells us it is what? It is ajwaf. Then we have Khoshiya Nasiku Rabbahu. Khoshiya Nasiku Wa'al Mujiddu Darsahu. Wa'al Mujiddu Darsahu. The serious person or the hardworking person takes his studies serious. Takes his studies serious. Then the next one we have Waqal Ghulafu al-Kitaba. Waqal Ghulafu al-Kitaba. This also has two weak letters. Waw and what? Waqal Ghulafu al-Kitaba. So the meaning of the statement is what? The cover protected the book. So Waqal also has 2 weak letters. So this is also Lafif, and it is what? Lafif al-Mafruq, because the weak letters are separated. Then our dhi'bu, the wolf howled. The wolf what? Howled. So this is lafif and makrun because the weak letters are consecutive. Then we have next one we have kasara aliyun al-husnu. Kasara aliyun al-husnu. Aliyu broke the branch. So kasara, all of the letters are sound. So this is Sahih. Then the next one, we have Amara Dabitu al-Jundiyya. Amara Dabitu al-Jundiyya. The judge read the verdict or the ruling. Then the next one, we have Farra Sajin. Farra Sajin. The prisoner escaped. So this is what we don't have there because we can see Shadda apparently here. Then the next one, we have Wasaban Namiru. We have Wasaban Namiru. The tiger pounced or jumped. So wasaba is also a weak verb, a type of montalu. For which type we can determine it is what misal, because the weak letter is a at the beginning of the verb. Then we have wahaba li abi sa'atan. My father gave me a watch. My father gifted me a watch. So is also misal. Wahaba is also misal. Then mal al jidaru. The fence bent. The fence bent, so or tilted. The fence bent or tilted. Mala is also a montalu, a weak verb, because we can see alif, which is a weak letter there. But which type? It is adjwaf. It is adjwaf. Then the next one we have Roma laibu al kurota. The player threw the ball. So Roma is. Then the last one we have Lawal haddadu al hadid. The blacksmith bent the iron. The blacksmith bent what? Bent the iron. This is also Lafif al-Makrun. So those